Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's September 16th of 2022. It's almost 3 a.m. in the morning. Little update coming up in a few days. I think the 19th will be my son's birthday. He's in the hospital right now, and I think that he may be out in 3 or 4 days or 5 days. So what else is going on here? I'm using Manicam, or is it Minicam? Governor DeSantis of Florida is copying the governor of Texas, except the governor of Texas, he sent some bus loads, very fancy buses. Uh, he sent those, I think one to New York City filled with immigrants, and one I think was sent to Washington, D.C. And now the governor of Florida has sent a plane load, or maybe two, to Martha's Vineyard. Uh, is that in Massachusetts? I'm not sure where it is. It's a very wealthy area. It's not populated with very many people. I think that's where the Kennedys had their estate, and so DeSantis, and I'm not sure if it'll work in Florida, really. Him sending those people. Now, Texas, it will work down here. I'm in Texas, by the way. Uh, Governor of Texas doing that uh, will actually work for his people down here. They'll say, oh, he's sticking it to those liberal Democrats and the communists. He's sticking it to them. He's sending these horrible people who are crossing the border. And I don't think it's going to work that well. It might. The DeSantis, the governor of Florida, uh, he's he wants to be president, and he doesn't want Trump to be able to run, and DeSantis thinks that he'll have a chance in 2024 to be president. Now, of course, anybody would be better than the former president, Donald Trump. But so I'm sure DeSantis is probably hoping that something happens to Trump, that he can't, run in 2024. I think if Trump is able, which I find it hard to believe, if he's able to run in 2024, I think he would get the Republican nomination, but he can't win. He lost uh, the election. But I think that would really hurt if Trump is able to run. That will pretty much really mess up the Republican Party. So I think a whole bunch of Republicans who see the handwriting on the wall and who are hoping that Trump is not able to run in 2024. And I don't think he will be able to, with all the crimes that he has committed and the things going on and the investigations and everything. I don't think he'll be able to run. And DeSantis would probably, I think, at this point, get the, if Trump can't run, DeSantis would, be the Republican nominee, I think. Of course, that's a long ways away. A lot of things can happen. But DeSantis is, he's smart. He's clever. Maybe not, what's the word you want to, devious? He would be a candidate for the Republicans who he would know what to, you know, feed to them, what to use, like sending this. But I think, I'm not sure, of course, I'm sure that DeSantis knows, Florida. I lived down there for, what was it, in Miami lived in Orlando for about a year, lived in Miami for several years, I forget how many, but, Florida is, Cubans came over when Castro took power in Cuba. Cubans left, a lot of them left, and came, and they're still coming if they can't, they're still coming, and people from Haiti, come and land. So I like I said, I think DeSantis is smart, conniving or something, but he should know what the. But I'm not sure that coming down on immigrants is the way for the governor of Florida, for the governor of Missouri or Kansas or some other state, that might be the way to go, but so I'm not sure. But, so what else is going on? Let's go to see, go to CNN News, and as you can see, I don't have any agenda, I don't have any, why did, what am I using? I'm using Chrome. Oh, there it is, let's see. Let's see. I've never heard of a special master before, but I've heard him talking now about it, and it's been used. It's something I've never really, heard about. See, Alaska braces for a storm that could bring 50-foot waves and hurricane-force winds. At least 440 graves found recently in the Ukraine. I'm not sure the name of the city. Izabum? I don't know what it is. The White House has announced $600 million security package for the Ukraine. There are some people in Russia that are, standing up, trying to stand up to Putin, and that takes a lot of courage. People who Putin has a problem with, they have a habit of getting poisoned, or the windows in Moscow must be not very well designed, because an awful lot of people who have fallen out of favor with Putin seem to fall out of windows of hospitals or things like that. So, for the people that are trying to stand up in Russia, I think they're pretty courageous. See, our rover on Mars has found a organic matter treasure. Perseverance rover finds organic matter treasure on Mars. You don't think when we get up there and land, you don't think we're going to find any Martians, do you? Investigating the site of an ancient river delta, the rover has collected some of the most important samples yet on its mission to determine if life ever existed on Mars, according to NASA scientists. A few of the recent collected samples include organic matter, indicating that the crater once likely held a lake, and the delta that emptied into it had potentially habitable environments 3.5 billion years ago. Since God supposedly created the earth 10,000 years ago, what was he messing around with Mars over 3.5 billion years ago? What's going on here? I don't understand religion here. It's amazing, the science and the things that are, that are available, and the things that are available, to us, cell phones, big screen TVs, all this kind of stuff is just amazing. I was born in 1941. God, I am old. And you are all young whippersnappers. I think I looked that up to make sure that it's not something too bad. Polio has reemerged in the U.S. Who should get a polio vaccine now? I actually read that a few hours ago because my ex-wife, we share with our grown son this apartment to save money, and she got polio just before the vaccine came out. In my grade school class, a graduating class of grade school, as far as I know, there was one girl there that got polio after graduation from grade school. She was the tallest, girl in our class, and she came down with polio. I watched the moving of the Queen's coffin from wherever it was to the church, and I think today is Friday or what? Yeah, I think today is the funeral. One of the guards standing, here it is. Let's see here.
So a scary moment in Westminster Hall when a royal guard standing watch over Queen Elizabeth's casket suddenly collapsed. Video shows the guard holding a ceremonial staff when he starts shaking.
Oh, right on his face.
Before he faints and falls off the podium there. Nearby officials immediately rush to help. It is unknown whether the guard there suffered. There he is. happened right there. Wow, that is scary. Unknown whether he suffered any injuries. The Queen's casket is being guarded 24 hours a day.
You know, a lot of, when military, or I've seen even in the past from the UK, parade or something going on, and one of the military people, you know, collapse, sometimes because of extreme, heat or something like that. And they just leave leave the person laying there. And I think that's, of course, I couldn't get in the military. I tried, but I know, military, gun-ho, all that type of stuff. I think that's, when somebody falls like that out of ranks, I think they should go immediately, not all of them. I mean, let's have a little bit still. I went to a military high school, and we had, parade every Friday, a full dress, parade and everything. But I don't remember any of us ever, fainting. But I mean, we weren't, well, I mean, we were outdoors, but so. But I'm glad somebody immediately went to, assist this person. Anyway, it was the transferring of the body from wherever it was, or the Queen's, casket or whatever. That was about an hour long. I watched about an hour of it being transferred, and pretty impressive. I mean, it was pretty impressive, very impressive. About the most impressive thing that I've seen. Every a minute and a half or two, a bong from a chapel, and it just seemed like it just the right. I don't know if they have the ability to, but it just seemed like it had the right tone. Of course, the band was marching, and there we had the band, and then cannon, being fired. I don't know how often they fired it, and then bong from that. It was pretty moving, and the crowd, a lot of people there, and they got a few of, I saw. Okay, I did speed up the thing a little bit, but I saw, several women, and I'm sure, that, with tears, crying and stuff. Very impressive. There's been a couple of things here in the press. One, they mentioned the King, Charles III, and his thing with pens, and with the inkwell being, a ceremonial one, I'm sure, probably been used for, and him being upset with that, and I think that's kind of, I guess they should mention it. And what was the other thing? Oh, and then there again, I guess there was not a big item, not front page over here or anything, but they mentioned that the former king, the former king in waiting, he had 100 people in wherever his headquarters was, whatever palace or whatever, and now he's moved over and taken the king spot of king or whatever. So then there's all that establishment of people there. So they really aren't going to need probably this 100 people. And it was mentioned in the press here, small article, not a big deal, but that they received this thing just at the time that this is all going on. And I'm not sure they said the people, those people. I don't think those people would say anything. But it was reported, that, well, how, that's kind of a bad way to treat these loyal servants and people that have worked, But, come on, that what's going to happen is they're going to these 100 people, X number of you will be able to move over. Do some of you want to, change? If you change to something else, you could probably move over with the king, or they're going to get. There's only 100 of them, and the king is one of the richest people in the world, so they're going to, that much to do about nothing. Let's see. Oh. You should have seen or heard the my intro for my video here. The old one was started getting hits for using somebody else's music. And all of a sudden, and so I just went to YouTube and grabbed something and made that, I think it's 50 seconds or whatever, the background music or something. I'll probably try to make it something better, or download it. If you're a YouTuber, they have audio, music and audio and stuff like that you won't get a copyright hit on if you use it. So I took something that was a little bit over 50 seconds. I tell you what, why don't we just go ahead and listen to it in case you missed it. Let's see, where is it? Where did I put it? Is this it? Start a video with sound? Let's try it. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Because I didn't have the so here we go. YouTube, when you use their music there, I don't think all of them, but some of them, you can actually click on. Maybe I should pull that up so you can see. Never mind. Some of those, apparently YouTube will pull out some data and we'll put it in underneath the, I think underneath the video. Down there someplace they'll put music, by, I don't know, have something like this, music by, and then the name and something, something else. So I have no problem with them doing that. That'd be great. If they do that, be fine with me. If you look over here on the side, you'll see some other videos or some audio. Dock movement, ambulance, thunder, fat man, stuff like that. Some of the stuff I downloaded, but I went ahead and used the one. Now that I kind of like it, the new one. So let's see, YouTube videos. Trump faces. This is MSNBC. Trump faces jail time. Let's talk about complying. That's view of the fifth column. I recommend his videos to you. Let's see, doctor calls Trump. What is he? Wow, Army truck to tiny home, Overlander. I like these videos too on YouTube that I see where somebody builds a, maybe like a boat and rebuilds it to live in, or where they build very small houses and, well, I don't think you'd call it a house and something like that. I like watching those. I'm in no condition to be roughing it. I'm in no condition to be able to do anything, work-wise. Oh, the history guy, I like his videos also. Anyway, he's doing this one is, I guess, on the Fiber Sun helmet. I purchased one of those when I was in Florida, and it's like a safari hat. And really I didn't get out anywhere to wear it, but it was like, I think a Sunday, I believe. And I lived right across, I worked at the mall. I'm not sure if I worked at the mall at that time, because I worked there for about a year as security. And then I also worked for a while at CompUSA, which was right across the street from there. But anyway, one Sunday, I believe it was, because the mall was really crowded. And like I said, I lived right across the street from it. So I thought, I'm going to wear that helmet that I got, brand new, never wore it, and I put it on, walked across the street. As I was coming up to the main entrances to the mall, the glass there, and I guess the sun or whatever was just at the right position, and so I'm walking towards it, a lot of people there, and I could look in the glass as I was approaching at the people behind me, and they were laughing at me. But I just acted like, went on in, and then I think that's the only time I wore the hat. And anyway, I gave it to the mailman that delivered mail to us there. Gave it to him in the box and everything else. Let's see. I am going to want to listen to this 4-year-old brother sings the police, I guess that's the name of the group, Every Breath You Take or whatever.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
She's not a very good singer. I've never seen her video before. I was thinking that it was this English group, family, but I don't recognize. And they're trying real hard to make, you can see they have a modest, oh, you can't see this, can you? Anyway, these other people have a I think this is okay, I don't think this is the one. But it looks like they're UK to me. Yeah. Anyway, this other family that's in the UK, you can see they have a mod, and they're not really real talented. But I mean, I can't sing or whistle, or I can't do anything. But these people here have 126,000 views. And here's the same, see, that was April 26th. I know, that's kind of gross. Let's see.
Every breath you.
This episode of Legal Eagle was made possible by Skillshare. Learn to think like a lawyer for free for 2 months by clicking on the link in the description. Hey Legal Eagles, it's time to think like a lawyer because the president could use some good advice, unlike the bad legal advice he seems to be getting at the moment. Today we're going to discuss one of the newest scandals to rock the White House, the allegations of bribery and potential abuse of power by President Trump in exchange for getting dirt on presidential candidate.
I mentioned this the other day when I was mentioning sites. He does a really good job. Not that I like lawyers. I don't think any of us like lawyers, do we? I've never had any dealings with lawyers. I don't think. Can the president pardon himself? That's one of the things he discusses. That has come up, been mentioned. I'm sorry, I do not think the president, I don't think, well, of course, you have a Supreme Court now, and you have, what is it, 3, or is it 4 justices that Trump, the worst president we have ever had, and Trump got to appoint 4 justices to the United States Supreme Court in one term. And of course, it was a rotten way that he did it and the Republicans did it. You know, I've mentioned this, of course. A justice died or retired, I forget which. And there was, I don't know, over half a year to go until the elections and stuff. And the Republicans decided not to even hold a Senate hearing because the Senate has to approve. And they refused, they didn't even hold because they wanted a possibility that Trump, or, the possibility that Trump would be able to, well, I'm not sure if they knew then who was, but anyway, so they did that. And then there was another opening when Trump was elected. And then at the very end of Trump's 4 years, at the very end, it was almost, he'd lost the election and a new president a Democrat would be coming in, and the Republicans did the same thing. And we're going to wait. And so, anyway, this guy does great. I'm sure, well, I don't know with Trump appointees on the Supreme Court, but the president, legally, the president, should not be able to pardon, or to, pardon himself. That's ridiculous. Let's see, they're talking about illegal eagle. Is that, that's this guy who talks about, I guess, the shotgun booby trap. And of course, it's not illegal to, like if you're troubled by trespassers or people breaking into your business or whatever, or a home, to set up a shotgun that goes off automatically if somebody opens the door or does something or other. That's not illegal, thank God. There was one guy that, and I felt sorry for the guy. That was on, like CNN. His house must have been in a bad neighborhood. I think he was, his house and nobody else's. Nobody lived with him or anything. And young people were breaking in. They'd see when his car was gone, and they'd break in, take stuff. And it happened a whole bunch of times. And he'd call the police, and he did all kinds of things. He called the police or whatever. And then finally, he, I guess, if I remember correctly, he parked his car someplace else, and he had rigged up down in the basement some shotguns or something or other. But he was there, and he was there with a gun. I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't rig up shotguns. Maybe he was just there with a gun. And he, they came. He heard him upstairs, and he had a tape recorder going. I'm not sure if he had a video camera going, but he had a tape recorder going. And then he heard him coming down the stairs, and then he waited till they were all like within range and everything, and then I think he killed like 3 of them, or maybe killed 3 and wounded 1, or I can't remember, but it was, and I forget how that thing came out. I think he got convicted of something, because what was really bad, I think, was, I believe, been a while back, he had a tape recorder going, audio tape recorder, and then he was saying, I think he might have said the N-word or whatever, and stuff like that, come on down, using the N-word, and a whole bunch of stuff like that went on that, you know, he should not have had. That was not a good idea. I wonder if this guy mentions the shot. Well, it wasn't a shotgun thing. Okay. Let's go to YouTube. Oh, I didn't have to go there. I could have just clicked right here. Oops. Well, let's look and see what's here. I love these videos and things where, you know, mom and dad, you know, will get the boy or girl a dog or a cat, or you know, something like that, and you know, the kid, you know, even a boy that, you know, probably doesn't want to be seen crying will just, you know, sob, and some of the little kids say, "Is it really? Is it really mine? Am I going to be able? You know, whatever." It's just those are great. Oh, back to let's see. I've mentioned this girl before. She's really talented, and I think I mentioned this before. The one thing, when she goes out, you know, she has like a little schedule where she goes out to a certain area and plays it. And I've watched a lot of these videos of people doing that, and you see people dropping, you know, coins into the person's thing. Everyone I've seen here, they're dropping dollars, you know, into her thing. Apparently, the entire family came quite a few years back. I'm thinking maybe 10 years or something, from the Ukraine. So they got out of there just in the nick of time. It, you know, she does really well. But I can see, I don't know, it just bothers me that they're trying so hard. I know it's stupid of me. They're trying so hard to make, you know, to make money, make a bunch of money. They do all the things like have somebody else join her, and for like a spinoff or type of thing. It's just, and I don't know why that bothers me. It's not that I'm making zero money from YouTube. I have no talent. I can't dance, can't sing. We have a cat, but it's not a cute cat. It's a black cat. You can't hardly. I mean, yeah, I don't have any possums like the raccoon guy or whatever. You know, but I don't know why it bothers me. It shouldn't, but it isn't a thing about me being jealous. It's just I don't like how they push it. And of course, she's got talent. She's actually doing something, you know. But of course, the ones that are a little bit older than her, those people are pretty creepy. I'm not the ones that, you know, not playing music or whatever, but go out and do things. I've talked about them before, you know. And you'd recognize the names if I mentioned them or whatever. And they are extremely popular, and because what they're doing is people love it. There's some guys who go out and try to have a confrontation with the police, and other things like, you know, like that. Here's more of this. I mentioned this in another video when I was showing there are so many sites on YouTube It has nothing to do with, you know, Russia against Ukraine or anything like that. There's so many schools and kids dancing and doing all this kind of stuff that, God, what's going on? U.S. special technique to free a $2 billion submarine stuck in the ice. Wow. Some doctor, I guess, I don't know who, he is unfit. Kelly demands Trump stop 2024 campaign. Trump's not going to, because one thing he's figuring, okay, if I'm running for president, the Justice Department won't, do anything because it would look like they were, trying to interfere with the election. So I think that's one thing that he's hoping that he can make it to where he's running for the 2024. I'm hoping he'll be in. I don't think it's going to go. We're not going to send. Even though he has done so many things that he definitely should be in prison for, just about every day of his 4-year term. Every day he was committing felonies and talking about it. He's just so stupid. And he's got some mental problems, but they're not mental problems that are going to get him, off because, he's mentally incompetent and we really can't send him. No. But what's going to happen is he's going to be found guilty of some stuff. And I think he'll get like house arrest or something, something like that. And I'm sure that he will get, when the court rules, that he can never hold any office in the United States. I don't think even on a state level. I think that's the way the laws, or several laws are written. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that it was in the Constitution saying, if somebody does insurrection against, tries to overthrow, the government of the United States, that they can never, they could go to prison and everything else, but that they will never be able to hold, if, the judge wants to impose that, which, please, do. I've watched a few of these kids or whatever, and little kids, like, I don't know if you can see this or not. Now, some of them, when they're up on the stage, when these little kids are performing or whatever, you can see there must be a teacher off, maybe two, one off here, one off there, and the little girls will be, or I guess, well, you don't see many little boys doing it, but you can see the little girls watching the teacher to do what the teacher's doing. I guess the same, doing their movements, and they're watching. God, how old are these kids? 2? they're doing, I think, like ballet. And it must be in Russia that parents, like dads want their sons to be professional football players or professional baseball players or stuff like that. And it must be that in Russia that mothers want their, and maybe dads want their daughters to be ballerinas, or what do they call the top of the line, prima ballerina or something or other. And I saw a YouTube video where a whole bunch of kids of different ages came and they were tested to see if they could get into the school, I guess, which turned out, in the past, whatever they call, the Supreme. What's kind of interesting too is you see, like the teacher of this class, undoubtedly, she's a little overweight, but probably not for her age, and stuff. But so she's showing him the moves and all that kind of stuff, and at one time, she was like them, slim and all that kind of stuff. But so I'm surprised all these little girls. Oh, there's a boy there. All these little girls. I mean, they seem to be really paying attention. I think if these were American little girls this age, probably one would be, looking out the window, another one would decide to go over and ask mom for a candy bar or something. I think. So, an hour. It's time to stop. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, you might comment on what you think about the audio that I added. That intro is 50 seconds. Maybe I should cut it down a little bit. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.